Airbnbs are down. And if you guys remember, there was once a time when you turned on social media, and as soon as you logged on, boom, Airbnb ad for this. An influencer talking about Airbnb. Somebody claimed they just went rich because they did Airbnb. So it was a real popular term, and Airbnb is actually the company. The correct name is short-term rentals, but Airbnb became so popular, they just exchanged short-term rentals with Airbnb, even though it's a private company. However, let's look into this to see, is Airbnb really down? Also, if you stay to the end, I'm gonna break down numbers of my Airbnb to show you how I managed to stay booked and managed to stay profitable, even though Airbnb is down. By now you have heard that Airbnb is collapsing. Airbnb is going down. Airbnb is not the same anymore. According to statistical data, it's actually true. Just a simple Google search, you can see all the articles written on it. I'm gonna put this one on the screen. And earlier this month, there was this meme going around that went viral in reference to Airbnb, stating that Airbnb is down. However, AirDNA, which is a more credible source, they dropped some data and said, hey, listen, it may be down, but it's not 40% down. Now, let me say this. From being active in the real estate market, I think that the people who are actually hurting are the people who bought on one exit strategy. What I do is I teach my students, right? And I teach my students, I say, hey, listen, we don't buy on one exit strategy. We buy on multiple exit strategies. Those exit strategies we want to be able to sell on the fire sale. What does that mean? That means that if a house is worth 100, we want to be all in $70,000. What is a second strategy? Does it numbers work as a traditional rental? Meaning, okay, if my mortgage is $1,200, how much would this rent out for as a single family? If it rents out for $1,600, $1,700, that's a great deal. That's good for the $500. I don't settle for $200 per door cash flow. I don't do that. However, depending on the neighborhood, I will be willing to pay a little bit more if I know I'm in a path of progress. AKA, if I know gentrification is coming down the road, yeah, I will pay a little bit more and hold it as a rental. However, but that's one strategy, rental, right? I want to have the rentals exit strategy. Would the numbers also, when I buy it, would the numbers also work as a fix and flip? They should, as long as you follow the 70% rule. Then, does it work as an Airbnb? So, you can buy with the intent to Airbnb, but make sure it works for these other things. Airbnb has not been around longer than 10 years and tested. And you got to keep in mind that one thing about Airbnb is it's in the travel industry, right? So in a recession, obviously it's less travel in a recession. However, we are in a time where you have travel and nurse is more popular than it has ever been. So you do have travel and nurse. You do have, depending on where you live at, if you're in a town with a hospital, if you are in a place that has a lot of construction going on, you can get construction workers, people who got IT contracts, etc. So I've had these people come through mine. However, mine continues to thrive. Why is mine continue to thrive? And I'm gonna put this one booking on here. It's one booking, and I know they got a rate, they got a discount rate because they did over 30 days. I have that built in the listing. Like if you do over 30 days, you get this discounted rate. So they're at $78 per night. Typically, my Airbnb is at like 80 to 90 a night. Typically, I notice in the low cost market, man, my thing stays booked up. And I'm not even in a major city. I'm on the outskirts of Charlotte. And I'm able, being that I bought right? I purchased the property right, I'm able to charge a lower rate. Now, if you purchase the property at a higher price point, if the property is worth $500,000 and you paid $500,000 for it, of course, you have to have this high rate so that not only you can cover the mortgage, so at bare minimum you can break even. But what I like to do is I like to go after that Walmart crowd, right? The Walmart crowd is majority of America. Some people are so focused on the Neiman Marcus crowd, right? They want the Neiman's crowd. The Neiman's crowd is cool, but the Neiman's crowd also has options, and you're depending on the crowd with a disposable income. Now, when it comes down to disposable income, remember, when recessions happen, people pull back for things that are not necessarily a necessity. However, if I'm here, I attract the Walmart crowd, and with the Walmart crowd, I'm not so much getting vacationers per se, right? I'm getting people, they're in town because they're getting some treatment at a hospital nearby. They're on a contract work. They just want something cheap. They're not necessarily travelers. Of course, I get travelers, but I'm not depending on the tourism, if that makes sense. And before even doing this city, I talked to somebody else and they said they had an Airbnb in this particular city that was thriving. So I went out and said, okay, well, I'll try it, and it's been going good. However, I'm at a lower price point. Wrapping this video up, right? I'll tell you guys this. I do think Airbnb still works if you buy it right and if you charge the right amount per night. You have to find what is a lower rate in your city, right? Because $150 a night could be a low rate in your city. And then you have to see if that's profitable. However, if you bought the house at retail, you might have to charge the $300 a night, whatever the case may be. I know somebody who charges $515 a night, and they're not missing a weekend, even in this climate, right? But why are they not missing a weekend? You get 2,000 plus square feet. You're on the outskirts of downtown, and you have enough tourist attraction, etc., where it makes sense for people to do that. Okay, you really do have to keep that in mind, man. With this type of stuff, with the Airbnbs, just don't look at something with that one strategy. You have to be strategic about it. Keep in mind, even in the recessions, Disneyland, their numbers go down, right? Because it's less travel, less tourism, etc. So Airbnb, you're in the travel industry, whether you like it or not, and you need to plan accordingly. But what I teach my students is to have the investor mindset, Now, I'm not going to touch on the Airbnb arbitrage. It can still work. It's depending on your city, because I know a lot of people in Charlotte, North Carolina, who say, hey, my Airbnb is still doing well. Meanwhile, you got reports in these other cities where it's like, yo, it's down, but people at the higher price points are maybe getting tapped. Again, as long as you buy right and you can charge the right price, I think that you will do well. So with that being said, I do think Airbnb is still a great strategy, but you should always have more than one exit strategy when purchasing a house, and that's what real estate investing is built on. Does it work as a flip number? Does it work as a rental number? No, you gotta have, it's always been like that when purchasing property as an investor, because we buy at a discount. All right, so look, man, wrapping this video up, man, listen, I am going to put this video up of this individual with this Airbnb, man. Make sure you check it out, man. I'm Nasser, aka the real estate guru. I'm not a guru, I'm a doer, because I actually do this business, man. Peace.